This is Mrs. Moret with our final video for the week about radians, and so we're going to be finding coterminal angles in radians. So you learned about coterminal angles last week, only they were in degrees. So something to remember is that coterminal angles are a full circle away from each other, but in radians, a full circle is a measurement of 2 pi. So what that means is we're going to be basically adding 2 pi or subtracting 2 pi to be able to find a coterminal angle. Now, the first example, I included a diagram. So knowing that this is equal to 0, and this is 1/2 pi, this is pi, 3/2 pi. The red angle is halfway to half of pi, so it's equal to 1/4 of pi. And then the blue angle is going in the negative direction, and altogether it does make a 2 pi circle. So if the red angle is 1/4 of pi, then the blue angle is the other 7/4 of pi, but it's going in the negative direction. So it has a measurement of negative 7/4 of pi. And these angles are coterminal. So using our rule to add or subtract 2 pi, if I have 1/4 pi, the first angle that I showed you, and subtract 2 pi, well, when I'm subtracting a fraction and a whole number, I want to change that whole number into a fraction. So I'm actually going to evaluate 1/4 pi minus 8/4 pi. And that is equal to negative 7/4 pi. Okay, so these angles here are coterminal, 1/4 pi and negative 7/4 pi. The examples 2 and 3, I just gave you radian measurements. And so to find angles coterminal to each of those, you simply are going to add 2 pi or subtract 2 pi. So one coterminal angle I can find by 1 pi plus 2 pi, which is 3 pi. I could do 1 pi minus 2 pi, which is equal to negative 1 pi. And I can take either of those, so let's say 3 pi, and add 2 pi again. This is 5 pi. So I have just found 3 angles. They're coterminal to each other, and they're also coterminal to 1 pi. You can literally find an infinite number of coterminal angles. Just depends on how many times you want to go around a circle. Our last example of 11/3 pi, again, I can add 2 pi, I can subtract 2 pi, and either way will give me a coterminal angle. So 11/3 pi plus 2/3 pi, or I'm sorry, plus 2 pi is going to be, well, I don't want to use a 2. Again, I want to make this be a fraction. So 2 pi is equal to 6/3 pi. And so when I add them together, I get 17/3 pi. I could also take 11/3 pi and subtract 2 pi. And I'm going to write that as 6/3 pi because I know that's equal to 2 pi. And I get 5/3 pi. And I could take either of these and continue to add or subtract 2 pi. I'm going to start with the 5/3 pi and subtract 2 pi from it. And negative 1/3 pi. So again, these angles are all coterminal to each other and to 11/3 pi.